Hello again. Welcome back to Lost in Translation. My name is Nika, and this week we're going to take a look at the portion of Tisa and my top 10 points that you will miss if you're only reading the Torah portion in English. Okay, so let's get started with number one. Census and temple economy. Here, the portion starts off where Hashem, the Lord, is telling uh, Moshe Rabbeinu how to go about taking a census of counting the people, and what's told is that they should all give a half shekel, right? A half shekel that is a donation to the temple, and that the temple operations will be carried out by this annual income of a half shekel from uh, every single member of the nation, um, right? So these are male. This is a male census, and I believe it's from the age 20 and up, right? So they bring this half shekel, and what we can start to see here is that if we consider the daily sacrifices, if we consider this half shekel donation, if we consider all the annual sacrifices and the tithings, we can start to picture that there's an economy that's being set up on temple service, right? So not only the temple or the tabernacle isn't something set apart that a portion of the population takes care of. It's something that the entire population, the whole economy, is really based on temple service and tabernacle service at this point. Um, so that yes, each person might have their own private enterprise, they might have their own farm, they might have their own business operations, but part of that operation is always in the presence. This has to be done for temple service. This donation has to be made. This tithe. This There's never a point throughout the year that the Jewish person isn't thinking about their responsibilities to the temple service. And in this way, the entire nation is focused on this aspect of their life, and this effort to continually maintain that connection to the Creator. Number two, karet. Okay, so just after this description of how to take the census, um, the holy oil of anointment, the Shemen Mashiach, is described, and we're given a warning that this is holy oil. We should only going to use this for holy purposes. And down here at the end, it says, Isha se kamoha vihariach ba nikarat ma'amav, right? That they're going to be cut off. This is a difficult word to translate. And the best that we come off is that they are cut off from their people, cut off from his people, right? This is like I've heard it said, spiritual excision. That that their soul is erased. That it's interesting that we start to see this. This is a new form of punishment that we start to see in the Torah. Okay, let's look at point 3. But Zazel, son of Uri, right? The next part of the next chapter. Um, we've just had all these implements described to us, what they have, what has to be made for the tabernacle, for the vestments, the altar, the menorah, the Ark of the Covenant, the incense altar, all the tools, the curtains, the staves, the everything, the vestments. Okay, and now the practical work has to start. And so, right, Hashem comes out and tells Moshe Rabbeinu exactly who he wants to do this work, right? Vaydiber Hashem Moshe le'amor re karati b'shem b'tzadzel ben Uri. I've called him by name, Zazel ben Uri. And this is an interesting name, because this Zazel, that he's in the shadow of El, right? That he's under the shadow of El or Elohim, and that he's the son of Uri, and Uri would be, this is Or, light, and this E, this Yud, is the first letter of the four-letter name of God. So this person who is supposed to do all the work, he's under the shadow of the aspect of judgment, but he's the son of the light of Hashem. So you've got this quality of this person being described in his name, that he's from the light of Hashem, but he's under the shadow, or he's in the shadow of Elohim. So what he's going to be doing is just, and it's going to be inspired by loving kindness. It's a very cool name, and it's something that's blatantly in front of us when we're reading it in Hebrew. Okay, so now we have point number 4. Holiav, son of Achisamach. So Hashem also assigns someone to help Zazel, and his name is also very interesting. We don't get translations of these names of Oholiab, the son of Achisamach, and it's a shame, because we see the meaning of his character too here, that he's, it's like he's from the tents of his father, right? If we see the Hebrew, Ahali, Av is father, and this Ahali is Ohali can be remind us of tents. And here, Achi Samach, Achi is my brother, and Samach is like trust, right? So I have my brother's trust. So this is somebody who comes from the tents of the father, and that my brother trusts me. So okay, that's why he's being selected as a assistant, because to be from your father's tent is to be from your own home, to be from a place that that you can recognize, and that's obviously why a brother is going to trust him, and so he's going to do his work faithfully. Okay, number 5. Observe my Sabbaths. This is interesting here, because after all the description of this work and all the work that's going to be done by the children of Israel, they're saying, now wait, you have to still keep my Sabbaths. don't go and work on Shabbat for temple purposes, for producing the tabernacle, right? And what's also interesting here is that it says says those who desecrate it shall be put to death. For whoever performs work on it, that soul will be cut off from the midst of his people. So right here we have this delineation that karet is not death; it's something different, right? Ushmar tem et hashabat ki kodesh hiv lechen mechalaleha mot yamot. He will be dead. כי כל העשה בה מלאכה ונכרתה הנפש ההיא מקרב, מקרב המאיה. Okay, so the soul will be cut off. It's a slightly different word than what we saw before. The translation that this being cut off is different than death, right? Your physical body can survive karet, but and maybe there's an opportunity for redemption in this as well. Um, it's it's a tricky spot, right? Whereas once you die, you're dead. There is no redemption after death. There's no opportunity for sacrifices, for coming close to Hashem after been after we die. So the two punishments are very, very different. This is where things start to go pear-shaped. We've just come out of Egypt. We've received the Torah at Mount Sinai. We've been told how to put together the tabernacle. People have been assigned. Work has been assigned, and now, number 5. Moses, who brought us up. So here is when, for some reason, Moshe Rabbeinu is one day late coming down off the mountain, or somebody miscalculates, doesn't understand how long he's supposed to be up there. And the first thing they do is they go to idolatry. They break basically rule number 1, rule number 2, all right there. Rule number 3, they break a whole bunch of rules right in the very first moment, the very first opportunity. And it's inconceivable if you consider all the events, all the miracles that these people are supposed to have seen, and the very first moment that they're let down, that their expectations aren't met, they break everything. And we can see the nature their of their error right here, that they say, because this man Moses, who brought us up from the land of Egypt, we don't know what has become of him. Moshe Ha'ish, the man, the person, Asher Ha'alenu, right, who has raised us, Me'eretz Mitzrayim, Lo Yedatu Me Hayalo. But just previously, Hashem is telling them, I'm giving you all this, I'm telling you to do all this so that you will know that it was I, your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt. And so the disconnect between who was bringing who, right? Maybe this goes back to this idea of Moshe being backwards spelling for Hashem. Who knows what's happening here, what the confusion is, but there is a disconnect between who was actually bringing people up from Egypt. Maybe this wasn't even the whole population, but they were allowed enough voice that they could call out to Aaron, right, and tell him, "Come, make us gods that will go before us." Well, it gets translated gods here, but it's hard to know because it's just the word Elohim is also, it's singular for God. So maybe they really wanted to be connected to God, Elohim, and didn't know what they were supposed to be doing, and they were calling to Aaron to make or do for us, God. Oseh lanu Elohim asher le'echol lefneinu. They want God to go before them. They've had, and so let's see where this takes us. So this is a huge problem. The whole system is not. This is like the lowest low that we could possibly have given this situation. And so the question is, why do these things happen? So we'll take a look at this as we go along. Number 7, your people who you have taken out. Okay, so in this situation, Aaron is trying to buy time. He's telling them to take out their earrings. He's saying, hey, we'll have a festival tomorrow. He's hoping that he can delay things until, maybe he's hoping that he can delay things until Moshe returns from the mountain. Everybody says, okay, let's stop doing this and let's listen to him. And the thing is that right away, Hashem knows what's going on. He says, your people have acted corruptly. They are calling out to this molten idol, this golden calf that has come out of the fire, and they're saying that you are the God, or you're the God. Again, I don't know. This is kind of highlighting the idolatry by lowercase g and plurality that we don't necessarily see in Hebrew, right? That this is your God, Elohecha, Israel, who brought you up out of Egypt. Okay, it's a mistake, but I don't know if it's this big of a mistake. The Hebrew doesn't really give us that information. It's a supposition in the translation to really bring out the idea that this is an idolatrous act, right? And Hashem is pointing out at the real idolatry here, and he's saying that he's saying, descend for your people that you brought up, right? Hashem vaydeber el Moshe lech red ki shichet amacha asher ha'alalta. You brought them up me'eretz Mizraim, right? So he's kind of mocking this idea that the people were thinking that Moshe Rabbeinu brought them up, that they weren't recognizing that it was Hashem. This is the real idolatry here, and maybe that can be lost conceptually, and that's why this, I don't want to call that a liberty, was taken in the translation, but it's unnecessary. And what Moshe Rabbeinu does right away is he lets Hashem know that not all people think this way, that even he himself doesn't feel this way. He says, when Hashem is threatening to have his anger kindle against them, he's going to annihilate them and make a nation only out of Moshe. Moshe reminds him that no, you have brought up from the land of Egypt your people whom you have brought up from the land of Egypt. So Moshe Rabbeinu is putting this back on Hashem. You did all this, and don't wipe them out. Why should the Egyptians say that he brought them out with evil intent? Right? That the Egyptians are going to say, Hashem couldn't take them to the land, so he just killed them all in the wilderness. Well, that would be injustice. That would be a sacrilege. Don't give the enemies the opportunity to defame you in this way. And he calls upon the merits of the forefathers. And this is something that we all must do. We all must remember that our spirituality is predicated on the merits of the forefathers of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Israel, Yaakov Avinu, right? So Moshe Rabbeinu rejects the idea that he was the one who brought them up out of Egypt, and he declares before Hashem, who doesn't need reminding, but he declares before Hashem that these are his people. They've made an error, but don't destroy them, because that wouldn't be right. So number 8. Make us a god. Okay, so Moshe Rabbeinu comes down off the mountain. The tablets are broken. He's yelling at Aaron, "What have you done? How have you exposed these people to such great sin?" And okay, here in the Chabad translation, Aaron is replying to him that they said, "Make us gods," right? V'amer li aseh lanu Elohim. Make us a god, or make us God, or somehow do something. Ose can also be do. It's not necessarily make. So in the art scroll, it translates this in the singular with the capital G, right? So this kind of allowing for there to be a linguistic confusion between what the people are requesting and what Aaron is trying to do. But here in the Chabad version, no, they've kept to the lowercase plural, which again, I don't think is necessary. I think we get the idea that there was a mistake, but that it's so easy for us to not understand what God is, because he's not in front of us, right? It's so easy for us to really want to be connected to God, but go about it the wrong way, right? We don't have to have a sinful or idolatrous intent when this happens. We don't have to be lowercase pluralized. We can be trying to achieve the correct target with a singular one Elohim and just be doing it wrong, not understanding that there is no person, like human-like person there to attach to. Without hearing voices, without having that contact, we can start imagining all sorts of things in our imagination of where the true power in the universe is at. That's what can bring us into idolatry, even when we don't mean to. And just to touch on that more, I mean, anything that we do that puts power in any other agent or any other force in the universe other than God, that itself is idolatry. If we fixate on our own desires more than our mission to connect to the Creator, well, that is idolatry. I mean, it's interesting here. I got this book about trading, and the first thing you see on here is a big golden cow. Okay, so if we get so stuck on money that it becomes the most important thing in our lives, well, there we've just made a foreign god. We've gone from uppercase to lowercase. Maybe it's because we want to be able to help people. Maybe we have all other other motives that we might overlay. But the moment we take away that power from in our concept, the conceptualization of power being elsewhere, when something else becomes more important, that's the essence of idolatry. So that being covered, let's take a look here at why this happens and why it turns out to be good. Let's take a look first at number 9. Erase me from your book. Okay, so we've seen throughout the Torah these quantum leaps in qualities of character. Noah comes along and God says, build an ark, and he says, fine, builds an ark, doesn't care about the sinners. Abraham comes along, Hashem says, I'm going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, and 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 instead, uh, Abraham negotiates with God. There might be 10 righteous people there. Don't do this. Here, Moshe knows that the people are wrong. He knows that they're not righteous in this situation, that they've sinned. And even still, regardless, he's willing to put his own existence. He's saying, erase me from your book. This is the essence of Karet, right? That we see that he is willing to be erased from creation, right, in order to save his people. And this is yet a new level of of uh, of altruism that hasn't been expressed yet in creation up until this point in the story of the Torah. Okay, and here we get to the real climax of this story. This is where we see that the descent of the golden calf is necessary for the new ascent that we see here in number 10. No man can see me and live. Moshe Rabbeinu has been down amongst the people. He's taking care of business. And now he's gone back up the mountain to ask for atonement. And this ascent, this new ascent, is even higher than the previous one, because he has demonstrated the willingness to be completely blotted out from existence in order to save an unrighteous people. This is different than Abraham, who is negotiating on behalf of hypothetically righteous people who don't exist. This is Moshe Rabbeinu saying these people were wrong, but it would be wrong of you to destroy them because you'd be breaking your promise. Remember your promise to Abraham, Isaac, and Israel. And in this new level of altruism, he now becomes capable of really adhering to Hashem, right? And this is again where we see the true qualities of Hashem. This is the way that we get to know him. This is the way that we can experience him, is by reaching out for those qualities and trying to become like him. Um, and so there's this discussion where, okay, I found favor in your eyes. You're going to come with us. You're not sending the angel. Show me your glory. Let me understand you, right? And this is where he says, okay, yes, we describe Hashem a bit, um, and he says that I'm going to put you in a safe place. I'm going to pass by you, and I'm going to shield you with my hand. And after I pass by you, you can see me from the posterior, because no man shall see my face and live, right? ויאמר לו תאכל לרעת את פניו כי לא יראני האדם וחי, right? Some places I've seen it, no human shall see me, but no, man is appropriate because this is ha'adam. And this is, again, bringing us back to the garden, right? That you are coming back to as high. Moshe is coming back to the spiritual height of Adam. This is as far as you can get. You can't see the absolute truth of Hashem. It's beyond human capacity. Yeah, our brains, we're not equipped to perceive it, but we can understand these qualities that Hashem is supposed to have, this oppositeness from our own egoism, and we can strive to attain those, and that's how we can come into contact with the divine. That's how we can rise to the level of Adam. That's how we can become. That's how we can attain the name of Moshe in our own spiritual internality. And this is why the fall to the sin of the calf is so necessary, because without this recognition of evil, without the understanding that there is nothing that we can do without throwing ourselves at the mercy of the miracle worker, we can still pretend that we have some sort of power in our own capacity, and that too is idolatry. All right, pretty heavy stuff this week. I hope you found it interesting and helpful. Please let me know your thoughts about this portion, and remember to like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you next week. Until then, be well.